que me perdonara por no estar con ella ese día, por no poder haberla acompañado en la mañana, porque si hubiera estado ahí, las cosas hubieran sido muy diferentes. Y a lo mejor si ella me decía que no quería estar en ese momento ahí, yo me lo hubiera llevado. Me lo hubiera llevado y no hubiera dejado que le pasara nada. Y pues que la amo mucho, o sea, que siempre la voy a amar mucho y que nadie va a tener su lugar, nunca.
On May 13, 2025, Valeria Marquez, 23 years old, a popular influencer and model in Zapopan, Jalisco, was fatally shot during a TikTok livestream at her beauty salon. The murder, meticulously planned, was hinted at by a prior delivery of black nail polish on May 9, signaling a dark scheme. The live-streamed horror gripped viewers, leaving a trail of questions about who orchestrated this brutal act. The symbolic gifts and the killer's calculated moves suggest a deeper conspiracy, possibly involving those in Valeria's inner circle. As the public clamors for justice, the case remains cloaked in intrigue. Can the truth behind this chilling crime ever be fully uncovered?
Aparentemente en estado de shock, ella decidió detener la transmisión con una única intención, la cual era evitar que la última imagen de su empleadora, la cual, repito, que fue víctima de feminicidio, fuera difundida o viralizada. Ella no quería que Valeria fuese vista de esa forma.
Erica, a salon employee working under Valeria Marquez, 23 years old, played a pivotal role in the daily operations of the beauty salon in Zapopan, Jalisco, where the tragic murder unfolded on May 13, 2025. Tasked with managing appointments and assisting Valeria in routine tasks, Erica was a familiar presence in the influencer's professional life. Described as close to Valeria, but not a personal friend, her relationship with the victim was strictly professional, rooted in the workplace dynamics of the salon. This proximity places her at the heart of the investigation into Valeria's death, which occurred during a TikTok livestream when a disguised deliveryman shot her after presenting a pink pig stuffed animal and a red drink. Erica's actions, or lack thereof, during this chilling event have drawn intense scrutiny, casting her as a potential accomplice in a meticulously planned crime. Suspicion around Erica stems from her behavior during the live-streamed murder. As the deliveryman approached Valeria with the symbolic gifts, Erica stood nearby but displayed an unsettling indifference. She neither fled nor reacted strongly to the gunfire, a response deemed abnormal by investigators and the public alike. This lack of action raises questions about her involvement, suggesting she may have been coerced or threatened by an external force, possibly tied to her family's safety. The documents speculate that Erica's financial dependence on her salon job made her vulnerable to manipulation. A threat to her family or personal interests could have compelled her to comply with a sinister plan. Though no direct evidence confirms this, her presence at the scene and her failure to intervene position her as a central figure in the unfolding mystery. Forensic evidence further fuels suspicion. Analysis by expert Miriam Moya revealed a reflection in Valeria's left eye during the livestream, potentially showing a woman's figure. This finding suggests Erica, who was physically present at the salon, may have been at the scene or directly involved in the attack. The reflection, described as a woman of medium to short height, aligns with the possibility of Erica's presence, though the low video quality complicates definitive identification. Her proximity to Valeria during the livestream captured on video strengthens the case against her. Erica's failure to protect or alert Valeria when the deliveryman arrived adds weight to the theory that she either knew of the impending attack or was complicit in its execution. Psychologically, Erica's role is complex. Her dependence on Valeria for income suggests a power dynamic that could have made her susceptible to external pressures. If coerced, she might have faced threats to her family or personal safety, forcing her to remain passive during the attack. This scenario paints Erica as a reluctant accomplice caught in a web of fear and manipulation. Alternatively, her indifference could stem from shock or helplessness, particularly if she had prior knowledge of the attack but lacked the means to stop it. The documents note that her lack of reaction might reflect a dissociative state common in high-stress situations where individuals freeze under pressure. This psychological lens offers a counterpoint to accusations of intentional complicity, suggesting Erica's behavior may have been a survival mechanism rather than a sign of guilt. Additional hypotheses deepen the intrigue surrounding Erica's role. One theory posits that she was a pawn used to divert attention from the true mastermind, possibly Valeria's friend Vivian de la Torre. As a low-level employee, Erica could have been manipulated to provide critical information about Valeria's schedule, enabling the killer to strike with precision. Her presence at the salon made her an ideal informant, whether willingly or under duress. Another possibility is that Erica was unaware of the full extent of the plan, serving as an unwitting accomplice who followed orders without understanding their consequences. The delivery of black nail polish on May 9, seen as a rehearsal for the murder, suggests a coordinated effort in which Erica may have played a minor but crucial role. The ambiguity of Erica's involvement raises more questions than answers. Her financial reliance on Valeria, her proximity during the attack, and the forensic clue in Valeria's eye all point to a potential role in the crime, yet her motives remain unclear. Was she a victim of coercion, a passive bystander, or a calculated participant? The reflection in Valeria's eye and Erica's inaction haunt the investigation, hinting at a deeper conspiracy. As the case lingers without resolution, Erica's true role remains a puzzle. Will the truth about her involvement ever surface to clarify her place in this tragic tale? Vivian de la Torre, the close friend of Valeria Marquez, 23 years old, stands as a central figure in the chilling murder case that unfolded on May 13, 2025 in Zapopan, Jalisco. Described as cold, calculating, and envious of Valeria's rising fame as an influencer and model, Vivian's role in the tragedy has sparked intense suspicion. The murder occurred during a TikTok livestream at Valeria's beauty salon. Vivian's actions and behavior before and after the crime paint her as a potential mastermind orchestrating a premeditated plot. Her controlling nature and apparent jealousy position her as a key suspect in a case marked by betrayal, symbolic gestures, and unanswered questions. Vivian's role as Valeria's confidante gave her intimate access to the victim's life. Described as someone who thrived on control, she was deeply embedded in Valeria's social and professional circles. Her envy reportedly stemmed from Valeria's burgeoning success, including an invitation to pursue opportunities in the United States, a milestone Vivian did not share. This disparity in their trajectories fueled speculation that Vivian harbored resentment, driving her to orchestrate a plan to eliminate her friend. The documents suggest Vivian may have sent the pink pig and red drink, symbolic items, delivered to the salon to ensure Valeria remained there at the critical moment of the attack. These gifts, interpreted as omens of death, with the red drink symbolizing blood and the pigs signaling Valeria's time, was underscore the calculated nature of the crime. Evidence against Vivian is compelling yet circumstantial. The documents indicate she may have manipulated Valeria's phone, blocking key contacts to isolate her and make her vulnerable. This control extended to encouraging Valeria to drink alcohol, potentially impairing her awareness during the live stream. Vivian's behavior post-murder further fuels suspicion. On the day of Valeria's funeral, she changed her TikTok username to VV, a move interpreted as either a lack of empathy or a deliberate attempt to draw attention. Unlike others who mourned publicly, Vivian posted no tributes, raising questions about her emotional detachment. Additionally, there is a hypothesis that Vivian had a connection to the deliveryman, possibly a relative, like a cousin, based on the coordinated delivery of symbolic gifts and the execution of the attack. Her failure to be summoned as a witness by authorities in Jalisco adds to speculation of external protection or a larger role in the crime. Psychologically, Vivian's profile is complex and troubling. Described as a survivor with fierce ambition, she likely viewed Valeria's success as a threat to her own status. The documents portray her as someone who craved control over relationships, possibly seeing Valeria's independence and fame as a challenge to her influence. Her alleged manipulation of Valeria's phone and encouragement of alcohol consumption suggest a strategic effort to weaken her friend's defenses. The change of her TikTok username to VV on the funeral day is particularly telling. This act could be interpreted as a psychological power play a way to assert dominance or mark a victory after Valeria's death. Such behavior points to a narcissistic or sociopathic tendency characterized by a lack of empathy and a need to maintain control, even in the aftermath of tragedy. Vivian's cold demeanor and calculated actions align with the profile of someone capable of orchestrating a murder to eliminate a perceived rival. Further hypotheses deepen the mystery surrounding Vivian's involvement. One theory suggests she collaborated with a larger entity such as a criminal organization or a powerful individual to eliminate Valeria. This speculation arises from the possibility that Valeria possessed sensitive information about illegal activities, perhaps gleaned from her ex-boyfriend, who was reportedly tied to organized crime. Vivian's role could have been to facilitate the murder, ensuring Valeria's silence while protecting her own interests. Another hypothesis posits that her control over Valeria's phone was part of a broader isolation strategy. By blocking contacts, Vivian may have ensured Valeria had no external support, leaving her exposed to the killer's plan. The coordinated delivery of the pink pig and red drink alongside the earlier black nail polish on May 9 suggests a level of planning that implicates Vivian as a central figure, possibly directing others in the execution of the crime. The lack of official action against Vivian raises troubling questions. Her absence from witness summons, despite her proximity to Valeria, and suspicious behavior suggests potential interference by powerful forces. In a region like Jalisco, where cartels and influential figures often sway investigations, this protection could indicate Vivian's ties to a larger network. The symbolic nature of the gifts and the precision of the attack further support the idea of a well-orchestrated plan, possibly beyond Vivian's individual capacity. Her post-murder actions, particularly the TikTok username change, hint at a confidence that she would face no repercussions, reinforcing theories of external backing. The documents do not confirm a direct link to cartels like Jalisco Nueva Generation, but the possibility lingers given the region's criminal landscape. Vivian's role in Valeria's murder remains a web of intrigue woven with jealousy, control, and calculated moves. Her access to Valeria's life, her manipulative tactics, and her detached behavior post-crime paint a portrait of a potential mastermind. The reflection in Valeria's eye, the symbolic gifts, and the absence of official scrutiny all point to a deeper conspiracy. Yet the truth remains elusive, clouded by Vivian's enigmatic actions and the stalled investigation. Was Vivian the cold-hearted architect of Valeria's death, driven by envy and ambition, or merely a pawn in a larger scheme? As the case languishes, the question persists: will Vivian's true role ever be exposed to bring justice to Valeria's memory? The direct perpetrator of Valeria Marquez's murder executed a chilling act on May 13, 2025 in Zapopan, Jalisco. Disguised as a delivery worker, he approached Valeria during a TikTok livestream at her beauty salon, presenting a pink pig stuffed animal and a red drink before firing 3 fatal shots. His role as the executioner was marked by precision and professionalism, suggesting a carefully orchestrated plan. The symbolic gifts and his swift departure from the scene paint him as a calculated figure, possibly acting under orders from a mastermind like Vivian de la Torre or an external force. His actions, steeped in mystery, make him a pivotal suspect in this high-profile case that continues to grip public attention. The deliveryman's professional demeanor raises significant suspicion. His ability to blend into the salon environment without arousing Valeria's suspicion highlights a strategic approach. These items suggest he was following a scripted plan designed to send a message or fulfill a ritualistic purpose. An earlier delivery of black nail polish on May 9, seen as a rehearsal, further indicates his familiarity with the salon's operations. This prior interaction likely aimed to desensitize Valeria to his presence, ensuring she would not suspect danger during the fatal encounter. His actions point to a larger conspiracy, possibly orchestrated by someone close to Valeria. Evidence against the deliveryman is rooted in his execution of the crime. The black nail polish delivery establishes a pattern of premeditation. By introducing himself to the salon environment earlier, he reduced the likelihood of Valeria or others questioning his presence on the day of the murder. During the livestream, he delivered the symbolic gifts with calm precision before firing 3 accurate shots, a hallmark of a trained or experienced killer. His rapid exit from the scene, leaving no immediate trace, underscores his skill in evading detection. This level of planning and execution marks him as more than a lone actor. Psychologically, the deliveryman's behavior reveals a cold and confident operative. His calm delivery of the pink pig and red drink moments before the attack suggests a lack of hesitation, typical of someone accustomed to high-stakes operations. This composure points to prior training or experience in similar acts, possibly within a criminal context. The use of symbolic gifts indicates he was not merely a hired gun, but someone integrated into a broader plan, possibly to send a message to others beyond Valeria. His adherence to these symbolic elements suggests loyalty to a directive from a mastermind, implying a hierarchical structure behind the murder. The deliveryman's ability to act without visible emotion aligns with the profile of a professional hitman driven by duty rather than personal motive. Additional hypotheses expand the deliveryman's role. One theory posits he was a member of a criminal organization hired through Vivian's connections, given her suspected coordination of the symbolic gifts. The documents suggest a possible familial link, such as a cousin, strengthening the idea of a personal tie to Vivian. Another hypothesis proposes he did not act alone. References to a motorcycle or white car at the scene suggest a second accomplice who may have assisted in his escape or provided logistical support. This teamwork would explain the seamless execution and rapid getaway, ensuring the deliveryman evaded immediate capture. The complexity of the plan, with prior deliveries and symbolic items, supports the idea of a network behind the murder. The deliveryman's role remains a critical piece of the puzzle in Valeria's murder. His professional execution, symbolic deliveries, and swift escape suggest a hired operative or a member of a larger criminal entity. Yet his identity and true motives remain elusive, shrouded in the case's broader mystery. Was he merely a tool of Vivian's envy or a cog in a deeper criminal machine? As the investigation stalls, the deliveryman's shadow looms large. Will his true identity and the forces behind him ever be revealed to bring justice for Valeria? The brutal slaying of Valeria Marquez, 23 years old, an influencer, whose star was rising in Zapopan, Jalisco, unveils a web of sinister motives blending personal betrayal with shadowy criminal intent. Beneath the surface of her vibrant life lurk reasons for her death that cut deeper than a bullet, ranging from raw envy to the chilling need to protect hidden empires. Jealousy and control drive one of the most compelling theories. Vivian de la Torre, Valeria's confidante, burned with envy over her friend's dazzling fame and glittering prospects in the United States. Valeria's charm and growing platform cast Vivian into the shadows, a bitter pill for someone craving dominance. Her suspected manipulation of Valeria's phone, blocking vital contacts, and pushing her toward alcohol was no mere friendship gone sour, but a calculated move to isolate and weaken her. This control suggests Vivian saw Valeria's success as a personal affront, plotting to dim her light permanently. Erica, the salon employee, though lacking Vivian's venom, may have been a reluctant pawn. Financially tethered to Valeria's business, she could have faced threats, perhaps to her family, bending her to Vivian's will, or that of a darker force. Envy here is not just emotion, but a blade sharpened by ambition and resentment. A more ominous motive points to Valeria's possible knowledge of criminal secrets. Her world of lavish parties and connections, including an ex-boyfriend tied to organized crime, may have exposed her to dangerous truths. Whispers of drug trafficking or money laundering could have reached her ears, perhaps through careless talk at a glitzy event. As an influencer with millions watching her live streams, a single slip could unravel illicit operations. Her murder, swift and precise, might have been a ruthless act to silence her, before she could speak, whether intentionally or by accident. The killer's choice to strike during a public broadcast suggests a need to send a message not just to Valeria, but to anyone else who might dare to talk. This motive paints her death as a calculated strike to protect a criminal underworld. The shadow of powerful figures looms large over the case. Speculation swirls that politicians, business moguls, or cartels orchestrated the hit to safeguard their interests. In Jalisco, a hotbed of criminal influence, such forces often pull strings from behind the scenes. Valeria's rising profile and potential to expose secrets through her platform could have threatened these untouchables. The lack of progress in the investigation with key suspects like Vivian untouched hints at interference from those with power. While no evidence directly links the murder to groups like Jalisco Nueva Generation, the region's dark underbelly makes such involvement plausible. Her death may have been a warning, a stark reminder of what happens when someone gets too close to forbidden truths. Digging deeper, these motives intertwine with chilling complexity. Vivian's jealousy likely had financial roots. Valeria's negotiations for major U.S. deals could have upended Vivian's own aspirations or strained shared business ties, fueling her desire to eliminate a rival. If Valeria held secrets, her live streams were a ticking time bomb. A casual comment could have exposed drug deals or laundering schemes, sparking panic among those she unknowingly threatened. The symbolic gifts used in the murder carry a deeper meaning, perhaps a coded signal to others in a criminal network asserting control or warning against betrayal. These elements suggest a plan not just to kill, but to cement power in a world where silence is golden. Each motive, jealousy, crime, or hidden power, reveals a piece of the puzzle behind Valeria's fate. Vivian's envy could have sparked the plot, Erica's coercion enabled it, and criminal forces may have funded it. Yet the truth remains buried beneath layers of intrigue and stalled justice. Was Valeria's death the work of a jealous friend, a desperate cartel, or a shadowy elite pulling the strings? As the case fades from headlines, the motives linger, like ghosts demanding answers. The investigation into the death of Valeria Marquez, 23 years old, relies heavily on forensic analysis of video and audio from her final TikTok livestream. These elements offer critical clues about the crime, but face significant technical challenges that limit their clarity and reliability. Forensic expert Miriam Moya identified a reflection in Valeria's left eye, a key piece of evidence from the livestream footage. The reflection shows a woman of medium to short height, suggesting someone close to Valeria, possibly Erica, her salon employee, or Vivian de la Torre, her friend, was present at the scene. This finding points to a potential insider's role in the crime, implying a level of trust betrayed. The image in Valeria's eye is a rare forensic lead carrying weight, because it places a familiar figure near the moment of the attack. It supports theories that the crime involved coordination by someone within Valeria's inner circle, adding a layer of personal deception to the case. However, the reflection's usefulness is constrained by technical issues. The livestream's low resolution hampers clear identification of the figure. Factors such as camera angle, lighting, and lens quality can distort the image, making it difficult to confirm whether it depicts Erica Vivian or another person. Reflections from the salon's mirrors or overhead lights may create false shapes, complicating analysis. Some investigators view the reflection as a vital clue, while others question its reliability, arguing it could be an artifact of poor video quality. This debate highlights the challenge of applying advanced forensic techniques to low-quality source material. Without sharper footage, the reflection remains a suggestive but uncertain piece of evidence, unable to definitively name the woman it captures. A team led by Mike conducts detailed analysis of the livestream using specialized software to examine each frame. They search for visual indicators, such as unusual movements, shadows, or objects that might reveal additional details about the crime. Their work extends to audio analysis, seeking sounds that could indicate the presence of another person. References to a motorcycle or white car suggest a possible second individual, assisting the primary suspect in escaping the scene. These audio cues could clarify whether the attack involved multiple parties, providing insight into the crime's planning and execution. The team's efforts aim to reconstruct the events through these subtle traces, potentially mapping the movements of those involved. Audio analysis faces significant obstacles due to the live stream's compression. The process reduces sound quality, blending distinct noises into a muffled background. Potential clues like the sound of a motorcycle engine or footsteps are often indistinguishable, buried under ambient salon noise, such as conversations or background music. This compression makes it nearly impossible to isolate specific sounds or confirm their sources. The team relies on public copies of the video, which are further degraded by platform algorithms, losing critical detail. Access to raw footage would improve the chances of identifying meaningful audio, but such material has not been secured. These limitations restrict the ability to draw firm conclusions from the soundscape, leaving key questions unanswered. The combined analysis of image and audio underscores the case's complexity. The reflection in Valeria's eye suggests a close associate's involvement, but its ambiguity prevents definitive identification. Frame-by-frame video scrutiny and audio examination hint at a possible accomplice, yet compression and low quality obscure the truth. These forensic efforts highlight the potential for breakthroughs while exposing the barriers posed by technical limitations. The salon's environment, with its mirrors and ambient noise, acts as a shield for the crime's secrets. As investigators continue to probe these fragmented clues, the path to clarity remains narrow, demanding better tools and data to unlock the full story of what happened in those final moments. The investigation hinges on digital evidence from her final livestream, but technical limitations obstruct the path to clarity. Compressed videos, degraded images, and missing raw data create a maze where answers remain just out of reach. The loss of metadata is a critical setback. Videos circulating on social media, stripped of their original data, lack vital details like timestamps, device information, or location tags. This absence cripples efforts to verify key aspects of the crime, such as the precise moment Valeria's streaming device was disabled. Metadata could anchor the timeline, linking events to suspects or revealing external influences. Without it, investigators struggle to reconstruct the sequence with accuracy, relying instead on fragmented public copies. These gaps erode the foundation of the case, forcing analysts to work with incomplete puzzle pieces, unable to confirm when or how critical actions unfolded. Image interpolation further complicates the analysis. Software used to enhance low-resolution livestream footage often introduces noise or artifacts that distort findings. A key piece of evidence, a reflection in Valeria's eye, risks being misinterpreted due to these flaws. The image believed to show a woman could be warped by digital enhancements, creating false shapes or features. This introduces doubt about whether the figure is a reliable clue or a mirage born of overzealous processing. Such distortions can lead to misguided theories, steering the investigation toward incorrect suspects or conclusions. The reliance on interpolated images underscores the delicate balance between enhancing evidence and preserving its integrity, a balance often tipped by the poor quality of the source material. These technical barriers reflect deeper systemic issues. Mexico's forensic technology lags in cases tied to social media, where digital evidence is paramount. Advanced tools for video and audio analysis are scarce, hampering efforts to extract clear data from live streams. The failure to secure original footage from the outset points to a lack of preparedness by authorities. This oversight raises questions about their capacity or commitment to pursue digital leads effectively. In a case where every pixel and sound could hold, the key delays in evidence collection suggest either logistical shortcomings or external pressures stifling progress. The combined weight of lost metadata, flawed image interpolation, and missing raw footage creates a formidable obstacle. Each limitation chips away at the investigation's foundation, leaving analysts with distorted or incomplete data. The reflection in Valeria's eye and potential audio cues remain tantalizing but unreliable, trapped by technical constraints. As investigators grapple with these barriers, the truth about the crime stays buried, demanding better tools and access to unlock the digital secrets of Valeria's final moments. The murder of Valeria Marquez, 23 years old, in her Zapopan, Jalisco salon on May 13, 2025 left behind physical and digital traces that point to a calculated crime. Bullet holes, a silenced livestream, and symbolic gifts reveal a plot marked by precision, betrayal, and possible ties to a larger network. Photographs of the salon chair, where Valeria sat, show bullet holes likely fired from behind. This angle, invisible in the livestream, suggests the first shot came from an unseen position, possibly by a second accomplice. The placement indicates the attacker exploited Valeria's distraction, aiming to neutralize her instantly. Such accuracy demands coordination and knowledge of the salon's layout, implying a highly organized effort. The unseen angle supports theories of a multi-person operation, with someone perhaps waiting in the shadows to ensure the plan succeeded without resistance. The livestream's abrupt end is a critical clue. Seconds after 3 gunshots, Erica Hernandez, a salon employee, calmly approached Valeria's phone and stopped the broadcast. Her composed demeanor, no panic, no cries for help, raises suspicion. As someone familiar with the salon's setup, Erica likely knew how to operate the livestream equipment. This swift action suggests an intent to limit digital evidence, a move requiring preparation and technical awareness. The documents note Erica's silence afterward as she deactivated her social media accounts, fueling speculation about her role. Was she following orders or acting to protect herself in a moment of shock? Her behavior remains a focal point of scrutiny. Vivian de la Torre, Valeria's friend, also draws attention due to her role in the delivery of symbolic gifts: a pink stuffed pig and a red drink. Vivian's messages urging Valeria to stay at the salon to receive these items align suspiciously with the killer's arrival. The red drink, seen as symbolizing blood, and the pig signaling Valeria's time was up, carry weight in criminal contexts. These objects may serve as coded messages or ritualistic markers common in organized crime to warn or assert control. Vivian's insistence that Valeria wait, combined with her fractured past with the victim, including a year-long falling out, suggests a deeper motive. Her actions frame the gifts as more than gestures, possibly tools to mark Valeria for the killer. The bullet hole's strategic placement underscores a tactical approach. Firing from behind ensured Valeria had no chance to react with the first shot, designed for immediate impact. This precision points to prior reconnaissance, possibly linked to earlier visits like the masked man's attempt to deliver a gift hours before. The livestream shutdown by Erica further complicates the narrative. Her access and calm execution suggest either complicity or a trained response to a chaotic moment. The absence of screams or immediate calls for help noted in the footage deepens questions about her role and what she knew. The symbolic gifts tie the crime to broader implications. In Jalisco, where cartels like Jalisco New Generation operate, such symbols often signal power or retribution. The pig and drink may have been a message to others, ensuring silence or compliance within a network. Vivian's involvement in their delivery raises the possibility she coordinated with the killer or a larger group. Her subsequent silence and the lack of arrests, despite these clues, point to systemic challenges in Zapopan, where organized crime's influence often stalls justice. The crime scene evidence, bullet holes, Erica's deactivation of the livestream, and Vivian's role in the symbolic gifts reveals a meticulously planned act. The coordination, precision, and coded elements suggest a conspiracy extending beyond a lone gunman. As investigators probe these traces, the interplay of physical and digital clues paints a picture of betrayal and calculation in Valeria's final moments. The probe has been marred by delays and inaction, raising serious questions about the pursuit of justice. Critical missteps and systemic issues continue to stall progress in a case that demands urgency. Jalisco authorities took an hour to reach the crime scene after the shooting, risking the loss or contamination of vital evidence. This delay hindered the collection of physical traces, like fingerprints, DNA, or ballistic markers that could have identified the killer or accomplices. The slow response allowed the scene to remain unsecured, potentially compromising items like the salon chair with bullet holes or the symbolic pink pig and red drink left behind. Such evidence crucial for reconstructing the crime's mechanics was left vulnerable, reducing the chances of building a robust case. The hour-long gap reflects logistical failures that undermine the investigation's foundation. Equally troubling is the lack of action regarding key figures. Vivian, a potential suspect due to her role in urging Valeria to stay at the salon for the fatal delivery, has not been summoned as a witness. Despite her messages encouraging Valeria to wait for gifts later tied to the killer's arrival, authorities have not reported analyzing her phone or social media accounts. Similarly, no public updates address whether Valeria's phone, used for the livestream, was thoroughly examined for messages or digital traces. This inaction fuels speculation about Vivian's involvement and the possibility of her providing critical information to the assailant. More concerning, it raises suspicions of external interference. In a region like Zapopan, where organized crime and influential figures hold sway, the sluggish response could indicate pressure from powerful entities, politicians, or cartels seeking to obscure the truth. The failure to question Vivian formally, despite her proximity to the crime and questionable actions, strengthens theories of protection or influence. Such an action aligns with patterns in Jalisco, where high-profile cases often stall under the weight of unseen forces. These investigative shortcomings have left the case in limbo. No arrests have been made, and critical digital and physical evidence remains underutilized. The absence of progress in examining Vivian's role or securing timely evidence from the scene reflects a troubling gap in accountability. As the investigation languishes, the combination of slow response and unaddressed suspects suggests either systemic failure or deliberate obstruction, casting a shadow over the quest for justice in Valeria's murder. The investigation into the murder of Valeria Marquez faces allegations of obstruction by powerful entities. Suspicions of interference and lack of transparency deepen distrust in the pursuit of justice. Some believe influential figures, politicians, business tycoons, or cartels are stalling the probe to protect their interests. In Jalisco, where organized crime holds sway, such interference is plausible. The failure to summon Vivian, a key figure who urged Valeria to stay at the salon for a fatal delivery, fuels speculation. No reports confirm analysis of Vivian's phone or social media, despite her role in the events. This inaction suggests external pressure, possibly from those shielding her or broader networks. The lack of transparency from authorities who offer vague updates without naming suspects heightens doubts about their motives. Mexico's history of judicial corruption, particularly in Jalisco, amplifies these concerns. The Jalisco Nueva Generation cartel, a dominant force in the region, often influences local systems through fear or bribery. Cases involving high-profile victims like Valeria frequently stall under such pressures. If Valeria held sensitive information, perhaps about money laundering or drug trafficking, gleaned from her ex-boyfriend's ties to crime, her death could have been a targeted silencing. Powerful entities might benefit from delaying the investigation to bury such secrets. The absence of arrests or formal questioning of Vivian aligns with patterns where justice is stifled to protect influential players. The investigation's opacity compounds these issues. Authorities have not disclosed progress on digital evidence like Valeria's phone or the livestream, despite its public availability. The failure to act on Vivian's suspicious actions, urging Valeria to stay at the salon, suggests either incompetence or deliberate avoidance. In a region where cartels infiltrate institutions, the lack of movement raises questions about whether investigators face threats or incentives to stall. If Valeria's knowledge threatened criminal or political interests, her murder could serve as a warning, with the investigation's sluggish pace ensuring no truths surface. These obstacles paint a troubling picture. Suspicions of interference by powerful figures combined with the failure to pursue Vivian reflect systemic flaws. Mexico's history of corruption and the influence of groups like Jalisco Nueva Generation suggest external forces may be at play. The investigation stagnation leaves Valeria's case mired in uncertainty, with justice obstructed by unseen hands protecting their own. The murder has drawn attention beyond Mexico's borders, with U.S. interest adding a complex layer to the investigation. The involvement of American authorities suggests the case may intersect with broader criminal networks, complicating the pursuit of justice. Documents indicate the U.S. Treasury Department has frozen assets linked to Mexican cartels, potentially tying Valeria's case to transnational crime. This action signals that her murder could serve as a political tool in the U.S. strategy to combat cross-border criminal organizations. The Treasury's focus on cartel finances suggests Valeria's connections, particularly her ex-boyfriend reportedly involved in illegal activities, may have crossed international lines. Her public warnings about threats and abuse hint she possessed sensitive knowledge possibly related to drug trafficking or money laundering activities that spanned borders. The U.S. interest elevates her case from a local femicide to a potential flashpoint in global anti-crime efforts. The U.S. intervention places significant pressure on Mexican authorities. The Jalisco State Prosecutor's Office, already criticized for slow response and failure to question key figures like Vivian de la Torre, now faces scrutiny from an international player. This external gaze could push for faster action or better resource allocation, but risks complicating the investigation. Political priorities in the U.S., such as curbing cartel influence, may overshadow the goal of delivering justice for Valeria. American involvement might shift focus toward high-profile targets or asset seizures, sidelining the personal tragedy of her death. This dynamic could dilute local efforts, turning the case into a geopolitical chess piece rather than a quest for accountability. The international dimension also suggests Valeria's murder has a larger scope. Her ex-boyfriend's alleged ties to organized crime could link to networks operating across the U.S.-Mexico border. If Valeria held information about these activities, her killing may have been a preemptive strike to prevent exposure. The U.S. Treasury's actions indicate her case aligns with broader investigations into cartel operations, reinforcing the theory of a calculated hit. Yet this focus risks politicizing the case, with international agendas potentially delaying or obscuring justice. The interplay of U.S. involvement and local inaction creates a complex landscape. The Treasury's asset freezes highlight the case's transnational stakes, but may divert attention from local accountability. As Mexican authorities grapple with limited forensic tools and possible cartel influence, the added pressure from the U.S. complicates an already stalled probe. The case's global implications underscore the challenge of balancing justice for Valeria with the fight against cross-border crime. The case's viral spread and the community's response highlight both the power and pitfalls of social media in unresolved crimes. Content creators like Jordi Wild and Javier Siriani fueled the case's reach, dissecting theories, suspects, and evidence in detailed videos. Their analysis, from potential insider betrayal to symbolic items like the pink pig and red drink, captivated global audiences. YouTube breakdowns and TikTok clips amassed millions of views, turning Valeria's death into a focal point of online discussion. This massive engagement kept the case alive, amplifying details that might otherwise fade in a region where justice often stalls. Community reactions on TikTok blended grief and outrage. Comments like "Valeria was a light, but darkness overshadowed her," captured the emotional weight of her loss. Users demanded justice, sharing hashtags and calling out the slow response of Jalisco authorities, who took an hour to reach the scene. Many criticized the lack of action against figures like Vivian de la Torre, whose messages kept Valeria at the salon. The outpouring of sympathy reflected a collective mourning for a young influencer whose warnings of threats went unheeded. Yet it also exposed frustration with a system that fails to protect women like Valeria. The viral spread underscores social media's role in sustaining attention on unsolved cases. In Mexico, where trust in the justice system is low, platforms like TikTok and YouTube become arenas for public advocacy. They keep pressure on authorities by amplifying evidence like the Livestream or the bouquet labeled "Perdon" left at the salon. This digital vigilance ensures Valeria's story remains visible, challenging the silence that often buries femicide cases in Jalisco, where over 800 women were killed in 2024 with few convictions. However, the rapid spread of information breeds unverified claims. Speculation about cartels like Jalisco Nueva Generation or unnamed politicians runs rampant, often lacking evidence. These unchecked theories from Vivian's alleged criminal ties to cartel orchestration risk, muddying the investigation. They divert focus from concrete leads like digital traces on Valeria's phone or Erika Hernandez's calm deactivation of the livestream. While social media fuels awareness, it also complicates the pursuit of truth, blending fact with conjecture in a case already clouded by inaction. The digital echo of Valeria's murder reflects a dual-edged reality. It keeps her name alive, demanding accountability, but risks distorting the path to justice with unverified narratives. The community's voice is powerful, yet its unchecked momentum challenges the clarity needed to solve her case. Content creators face both criticism and support as their coverage shapes the case's visibility amid a faltering investigation. Some condemn creators for exploiting the tragedy. Sensationalized titles and monetized videos dissecting Valeria's death are seen as disrespectful to her and her family. Critics argue that turning a young woman's murder into clickable content cheapens her loss, prioritizing views over dignity. The use of graphic details, like the livestream footage or speculation about figures like Vivian de la Torre, who urged Valeria to stay at the salon, is viewed as invasive. Such coverage risks trivializing the pain of a femicide in a region where over 800 women were killed in 2024 with little justice. This critique highlights a perceived moral failing where profit overshadows respect for Valeria's memory. Conversely, many defend the public analysis as a vital tool. In Jalisco, where authorities delayed response by an hour and failed to question key figures like Vivian, content creators keep the case alive. Supporters argue that videos by figures like Jordi Wild and Javier Siriani analyzing evidence such as the pink pig or Erika Hernandez's calm livestream shut down apply pressure on a system marked by opacity. With no arrests and limited updates from the Jalisco prosecutor's office, public scrutiny via YouTube and TikTok ensures Valeria's story does not fade. This advocacy amplifies calls for justice, reflecting distrust in a system where only 15% of femicide cases see convictions. The debate reveals a deeper tension between free speech and ethical responsibility. Monetizing tragedy can undermine the gravity of analyses, diluting serious discussions with sensationalism. Yet it also incentivizes creators to dig into overlooked details, fostering community engagement. In Mexico, where institutional inaction is common, this public pressure is often the only force pushing for accountability. The viral spread of Valeria's case with millions of views shows social media's power to sustain focus, but also its risk of prioritizing drama over truth. This divide underscores the complex role of digital platforms in modern justice. While some see exploitation, others see necessity. Content creators navigating Valeria's case walk a fine line, amplifying her story while risking ethical missteps in a system that offers little clarity or resolution. The murder of Valeria Marquez, 23 years old, in Zapopan, Jalisco draws parallels to the 2017 killing of influencer El Pirata de Culiacan, yet public reactions reveal stark differences shaped by gender and context. Both cases expose the dangers of influencer life in Mexico's volatile landscape. El Pirata de Culiacan, a young male influencer, was gunned down after publicly insulting a drug lord in Sinaloa, a reckless act that provoked a swift and brutal response. His death, seen as a consequence of his own provocation, garnered limited sympathy. Many viewed him as inviting retaliation through his brazen online behavior, aligning with a narrative that he brought it on himself. In contrast, Valeria's murder during a live stream at her salon elicited widespread empathy. Seen as an innocent victim, her public warnings about threats and abuse from an ex-boyfriend tied to crime painted her as vulnerable, not culpable. Her gender and personal story as a self-made model amplified public grief, driving millions of views on platforms like TikTok and YouTube. The differing reactions highlight societal gender biases. Women like Valeria are often perceived as victims deserving protection, especially when targeted without clear provocation. Her posts about fear and bruises resonated as cries for help, framing her as a tragic figure in a region where femicide claims over 800 lives annually. Male influencers like El Pirata face harsher judgment, with their actions scrutinized as reckless or deserving of consequences. This double standard reflects a cultural tendency to shield women while holding men accountable for their risks, exposing deep-rooted gender norms in public discourse. Both cases underscore the perilous reality of influencer life. Valeria's potential knowledge of criminal activities possibly linked to her ex-boyfriend mirrors El Pirata's fatal entanglement with a cartel. Influencers operating in public view become easy targets, their routines and locations exposed through social media. Valeria's livestream made her vulnerable, just as El Pirata's provocative videos marked him for retribution. Their deaths highlight how digital visibility can attract dangerous attention from powerful figures, whether cartels or personal enemies. The comparison reveals a broader truth. Influencers navigate a treacherous intersection of fame and risk, where a single post can provoke deadly consequences. While Valeria's case draws sympathy and calls for justice, its parallels with El Pirata's expose a shared vulnerability. In Mexico's fraught environment, visibility is both power and peril for those who dare to shine. The lays bare Mexico's deep-rooted issues of violence, injustice, and the pervasive influence of cartels. It also highlights the unique risks faced by influencers in a volatile social landscape. Mexico grapples with rampant violence, with over 300 homicides annually. Jalisco, a hub for the Jalisco Nueva Generation cartel, ranks among the most dangerous regions. The cartel's grip fuels a cycle of fear and impunity, where killings like Valeria's often go unsolved. The investigation's sluggish pace, with no arrests, despite public evidence like the livestream, reflects a broken justice system. In 2024, Jalisco recorded over 900 homicides, with only 15% of femicide cases leading to convictions. This systemic failure, rooted in corruption and cartel influence, leaves victims like Valeria without justice, compounding public distrust in authorities. Influencers face heightened risks due to their online visibility. Valeria, a model and salon owner with over 100,000 followers, shared her life openly on TikTok and Instagram. Her public warnings about threats and an abusive ex-boyfriend tied to crime made her a target. The livestream that captured her death exposed how influencers' routines and locations broadcasted online become vulnerabilities. In Zapopan, where organized crime thrives, such exposure can attract dangerous attention from cartels or personal enemies. The broader context reveals systemic dangers. Mexico's high homicide rate, particularly in Jalisco, reflects the unchecked power of cartels like Jalisco Nueva Generation. These groups exploit weak judicial systems, often intimidating or bribing officials to stall investigations. Valeria's case, with its delayed response and unaddressed suspects like Vivian de la Torre, suggests possible interference. Her potential knowledge of criminal activities, perhaps from her ex-boyfriend, heightened her risk, making her a liability to powerful figures. The vulnerability of young influencers is stark. Their public lives invite scrutiny and danger, especially when tied to risky relationships or sensitive information. Valeria's death amplifies the lack of safety for women in visible roles. In a country where justice is elusive and violence pervasive, influencers navigate a precarious line between fame and fatal exposure. Her case is a grim reminder of the cost of visibility in Mexico's fractured social fabric. On the morning of May 13, 2025, 23-year-old Valeria Marquez opened the doors of her Blossom Beauty Lounge in Zapopan, Jalisco, ready for another day of serving clients and growing her online brand. But just minutes later, she lay dead, killed by 3 close-range shots fired by a man disguised as a delivery worker. The precision of the attack, the eerie calm with which the assailant confirmed her name before pulling the trigger, and the mysterious red drink and pink pig delivered shortly beforehand all point to one conclusion. This was not random. This was an execution. And behind it, a chilling web of hidden motives, family abandonment, and systemic failure begins to unravel. Valeria's killing bears every hallmark of a calculated hit. It was surgical, swift, and strangely theatrical. Witnesses described the killer walking in with calm confidence, as though he knew exactly what he was doing and who he had come for. The red drink in pink, pig placed near the salon moments before. Likely markers, a signal to the shooter that the target was present. This level of orchestration implies access to information only someone close or someone watching could have. Valeria had voiced concerns to those around her. Her ex-boyfriend, rumored to have ties to criminal networks, had allegedly threatened her in the past. She warned that she knew things she perhaps should not have. In a country where criminal operations often bleed into everyday life, holding dangerous knowledge can be a death sentence. If Valeria had become a liability to someone with power, silencing her may have been seen as necessary. This wasn't just a crime of passion. It was a message. And Zapopan heard it loud and clear. Zapopan is not unfamiliar with violence, but Valeria's murder struck a particular nerve. Just blocks away, another high-profile killing had taken place minutes earlier, creating the sense of coordinated chaos. For many, it shattered the illusion of safety in even the most mundane of public spaces, salons, plazas, cafes. If a young business owner could be executed in broad daylight inside her own shop, where was anyone truly safe? Small business owners, especially women, now face a deeper fear. The visibility that once empowered them has become a vulnerability. Valeria had built her business with ambition, style, and public presence. But in doing so, she made herself visible in a region where attention often invites risk. A bouquet of flowers was left outside the salon, tagged with a single word: pardon. Forgive me. No one knows who left it. But its presence has chilled many. Was it remorse from someone involved? A silent witness? Or just a symbolic note from a grieving stranger? In any case, it underscored a shared truth: no one feels safe, and no one feels heard. Valeria's tragedy did not begin with the gunshots. It began long before, in the silence of her home. According to those close to her, Valeria's father had refused to support her dream of running the salon. Worse, he allegedly dismissed her concerns about being followed, threatened, and stalked. After her death, instead of mourning, he reportedly rummaged through her personal belongings, an act that sparked public outrage and highlighted a painful betrayal. Her isolation wasn't just social, it was emotional and familial. And sadly, this is not unique. In many parts of Mexico, young women striving for independence and visibility face a toxic combination of institutional neglect and family indifference. They are encouraged to dream, yet not protected when those dreams become dangerous. Valeria's case reveals the cost of that abandonment. It shows how a lack of emotional backing and real-world protection can push someone into vulnerable relationships and unsafe environments. It wasn't just the system that failed her family did too. The murder of Valeria Marquez is more than a tragic headline. It's a siren call echoing across Mexico's volatile landscape. Her story offers hard, actionable lessons for personal safety, judicial reform, and digital responsibility in an era where being visible is both empowering and perilous. Valeria was open on TikTok. She live-streamed her life, showed her location, revealed aspects of her relationships. But in a country that registers over 3,000 homicides a year, this transparency can be fatal. Public figures in Mexico, especially women, must approach visibility with strategic caution. Share less. Disclose wisely. Treat fame as both a platform and a liability. Despite surveillance footage, eyewitnesses, and strong public interest, there have been no arrests in Valeria's case. This reflects a deeper, national paralysis. In Jalisco, only 15% of femicide cases result in conviction. The reasons are complex: corruption, cartel interference, limited forensic capabilities, weak witness protection. But the outcome is simple: impunity. Until Mexico invests in faster forensic response, better protection programs, and independent judicial oversight, justice will remain a rumor, not a right. While Valeria was being threatened during live streams, TikTok systems failed to detect or act on the danger. This is unacceptable. Platforms profiting from real-time engagement must also shoulder real-time responsibility. Detection tools that flag violent threats, automatic intervention during dangerous live feeds, and human moderators trained to respond immediately should be the norm. not the exception. Tech giants cannot hide behind algorithms when human lives are at stake. Valeria's story is not just about one woman. It's about a generation navigating public identity in a country where attention can kill. It's about fathers who dismiss their daughters' cries for help, platforms that harvest views but ignore violence, and a justice system so slow it might as well be complicit. Her death is a brutal reminder: in places where law is weak and silence is survival, visibility can become a death sentence. But it is also a chance to choose a different path. We must start listening, really listening, to the fears of young women before they become posthumous footnotes. We must demand laws that protect them not after, but before the bullet. And we must reimagine social media not just as a stage, but as a shield. Let Valeria Marquez not be remembered only as a victim. Let her name carry a weight heavier than grief. Let it carry the burden of change.